This is Trend Following Radio, where great thinking comes alive. Nobel Prize winners, legendary traders, best-selling authors, and the pros that know what drive us irrational human beings. I am your host, Michael Covel. Not filtered, raw, honest. That's my passion. So I got forwarded this interesting article called 21 Ways Rich People Think Differently Than Average People. I'm going to go through them. I think these are good. These are worth thinking about. And, you know, the word rich, look, we get to say high character people because, look, there's plenty of folks, and I've met them. There's plenty of folks that I know that have no money and they're schmucks. There's plenty of people I know that have lots of money and they're schmucks. So I'm a little torn about the word rich in general. But anyways, let's go through with the, just read some of these. Average people think money is the root of all evil. Rich people believe poverty is the root of all evil. Because average folks, they just think rich people are just lucky or dishonest. Some of them are, okay? But a lot of them aren't. Most of it's really about hard work. And, money is not the root of all evil. Money is just a tool of exchange. It's a medium of exchange. That's all it is. In your mind, you can make it evil. But by itself, money is just a tool of exchange. It's not evil by itself. It's what you make it that becomes good or bad. Number 2, average people think selfishness is a vice. Rich people think selfishness is a virtue. And look, if you go out there, the first thing you've got to do is you got to make yourself happy. If you are not happy, you can't help anyone else. If you're just this cranky, unhappy unhappy person who can't find achievement in your life, how can you actually put yourself in a position to help others? You can't. So selfishness is a good thing. It's a good thing. Not to some extreme where you sit around on top of a mountain in a golden chariot doing nothing except watching money grow and, you die and you're eccentric Howard Hughes. I mean, that's not good. But selfishness is a good thing. Continuing. Average people have a lottery mentality. Rich people have an action mentality. I did a podcast on this last week. Lottery mentality is all about literally buying the lottery ticket, pretending you're going to be Kim Kardashian by going to the Hard Rock pool party. If you go to the Hard Rock pool party and you have your perfect tan and your perfect augmented body, and you expect to be spotted by the talent scout, and then you will be on the TV and you will be rich and famous, and it will all happen in an instant. This really isn't how the world works. Continuing. Average people think the road to riches is paved with formal education. Rich people believe in acquiring specific knowledge. This is so true. So true. Formal education is worth bleh. There's no guarantee with it. It's like trusting the system. What you need is you got to look at your world and say, okay, what do I need to do to get ahead? What do I have to do to get ahead? And then do that. But if you go sit there and you say, well, I'm going to get my BA, I'm going to get my MBA, I'm going to get my PhD, because when I get those 3 degrees, society will be so excited and so happy and so loving, and they'll just want to reward me with all kinds of riches, and life will be easy and I'll be tenured. No, it doesn't work that way. Does not work that way. Continuing. Average people long for the good old days. Rich people dream of the future. Yep, this is true. The good old days are gone. Yesterday's gone. What's the old, the Ruby Tuesday from the Rolling Stones? Yesterday don't matter if it's gone, right? It is gone. Now, you also don't want to be too much in the future as well. You want to be more in that moment, the right now in the moment. But the good old days, they're gone. Stop that stuff. Continuing. Average people see money through the eyes of emotion. Rich people think about money logically. Very true. So what happens with emotion is you start to think about what you can buy. What can you buy will change your life. It will shift everything. No, it won't. It's just going to be what you can buy. Is anyone noticing also that a lot of these precepts and principles are right at the foundation of Trend Following 101 as well? They are. Continuing. Average people earn money doing things they don't love. Rich people follow their passion. True. Bingo. If you wake up every day and you go to work for the man and you can't stand it and you hate it, but you do it because you think you have to do it because that's the only way you can pay the bills, maybe you should get different bills. Maybe you should change your whole life around. Maybe you should just stop. What's the point? If you hate it and you do it, you're a masochist. Why do you want to be a masochist? What do you like self-hate? Do you like hurting yourself? Was this like you're cutting your wrist? You just want to watch blood come out of yourself for no particular reason? Is this really how you enjoy your life? Oh man, please don't call me. Don't hang around me. I really don't want to talk to you. Not that I don't have compassion for you. I want you to be better, but it's too much drama. Continuing. Average people set low expectations so they're never disappointed. Rich people are up to the challenge. Low expectations would be going to Walmart on a Saturday morning to buy the latest piece of Chinese plastic. And I don't say that to be derogatory to the Chinese, because God bless them that they went ahead and they figured that we all want to buy this plastic stuff that gets recycled every 6 months. But if that's your objective, low expectations, yeah. Low expectations starts with collecting plastic stuff at Walmart. That's low expectations. Average people believe you have to do something to get rich. Rich people believe you have to be something to get rich. Well, isn't that good? Do I even need to explain that one? You have to be something. You have to stand up and be counted. If you are unwilling to stand up and be counted, if you are unwilling to stand up to the man, the system, the matrix, you'll get something. You'll get your bowl of gruel, your porridge. And you can sit there and maybe you don't know any better and you'll say, well, this porridge is just great. My whole life was great just eating porridge. Hey man, teach his own. Continuing. Average people believe you need money to make money. Rich people use other people's money. I'm a little torn on that one. I understand the principle, which is like, hey, if you got a good idea, it's almost like venture capital. So there's a lot of truth to it. But average people believing you need money to make money, there is some truth that being self-financed. I'm not going to disagree with that completely. So average people believe the markets are driven by logic and strategy. Rich people know they're driven by emotion and greed. Yep. It's all emotion and greed. That's it. The markets, that price you see each day, is just a manifestation of millions upon millions of people betting on what they think the price should be. And how do they make that bet? Logically? No. They make that bet just based on how they feel. They'll tell you they're doing it logically. No, it's not believable. Continuing. Average people live beyond their means. Rich people live below theirs. Yep. This means if you have 10 credit cards and they're all maxed out, this is not a good thing. This is not a good thing. Time to get out of debt. Because it's like a noose, right? It's a hangman's noose. You're stuck. You're in handcuffs. You are in some kind of weird dungeon that you can't get out of. And then what it does is it occupies and takes away the creative part of your brain that could otherwise be doing something else. And you get locked into being a slave to one of the banks out there. And you just are there. You're just marching. You're like one of the people building the pyramids. You see those old reenactments of like thousands of people pulling a block. That's all you are. You're just a block. You're pulling the block. You're not only the block, you are pulling the block. You're both. You are the gerbil on the wheel. That's all it is. Continuing. Average people teach their children how to survive. Rich people teach their kids to get rich. And I think rich, like I said early on, is more of a spiritual view too, because it's pretty easy to survive these days. You can survive, you can get by, but how do you get beyond just getting by? How do you do something that offers a little freedom? Because that's what you're after here. You're after freedom. You want freedom. It's not, can I buy the latest Ferrari or the latest piece of plastic at Walmart? No, it's freedom. That's what you want. Average people let money stress them out. Rich people find peace of mind in wealth. Yep, don't need to comment about that one. That's pretty self-understanding there. Average people would rather be entertained than be educated. Rich people would rather be educated than entertained. This is true. I really don't. I'm not entertained by I mean, the occasional show or something where you see somebody of really high skill and practice entertaining you, yes. But by and large, what's on TV and stuff, it's just kind of like this weird kind of brainwashing entertainment. It's not good. It's not how you get rich. Average people think rich people are snobs. Rich people just want to surround themselves with like-minded people. There are definitely some, quote, rich snobs out there. But there's no doubt also that if you find a way to make a little success, it's more interesting to be around other people that have had success. However, here's my caveat to that, is that if you have made it to some degree and you don't have to worry about paying the bills, it is very enjoyable to be around people that are striving, that want to get ahead, that perhaps have nothing. So it's not, because they can be very like-minded, even though they might not have anything. So I think one has to be careful about how they look at that. Average people focus on saving. Rich people focus on earning. I don't know if average folks these days even focus on saving. Continuing. Average people play it safe with money. Rich people know when to take risks. That is Larry Height's definition of an asymmetric bet. Asymmetric bet is when you take a relatively small piece of your nest egg and you make a bet where the potential for return is outsized. So you're trying to put, quote, this is just hypothetical, you're putting a little bit of your money to work with the hope of outsized gains where your downside is limited. Really, really important. Average people love to be comfortable. Rich people find comfort in uncertainty. Well, because uncertainty is life. If you think you're certain, if you think the world is certain, I don't know, you might have missed a few classes early on. There's not much certainty you can count on. So it's kind of like, if you just want to be a buy and hold investor and just trust that the system will always push stocks straight up, you can do that. To me, that's highly risky. Continuing. Average people never make the connection between money and health. Rich people know money can save your life. Absolutely. And it's more than just money. It is perhaps money giving you the freedom to then go ahead and concentrate on the healthful activities. Because it's not only that money can save your life from a heart surgery where, clearly that's going to cost money, but money can save your life by giving you freedom to then look at the situation and say, how can I spend my time to put myself in a healthier situation? How can I exercise better? How can I eat better, etc.? Last but not least, average people believe they must choose between a great family and being rich. Rich people know you can have it all. That's hard. That's hard, especially when you're trying to start out and assemble a nest egg. Because sometimes if you start with very little, you have to really put the horse blinders on and concentrate and practice very hard. I recently told a friend about a quote from Jim Rogers' book, Investment Biker. And in that book, he talked about a famous quote, I believe it was from Bacon, and he said that, a wife and child will be hostage to a fortune. You can't run the sub 4-minute mile or be a Kirov ballerina, and then have the wife and the child and all these other things, because to get to that highest level of achievement takes a certain amount of concentration and drive and persistent effort that is very, very difficult and that sometimes you will sacrifice. I think perhaps that last quote, what it says more than anything is to know that you can get both things. You might not get them at the exact same time, but they're both obtainable in the course of a lifetime. I think that's really the larger issue. So anyways, I thought this was a great article. It's easily found online. It's called 21 Ways Rich People Think Differently Than Average People. I basically made up my own commentary for each one. I read the bullet point headline, and I've not even read his paragraph, so perhaps he's got some more interesting views to add to it. So take a look. In the second segment, I found this article Maybe I didn't find it. Maybe somebody sent it to me. I have no memory of how I got it, but it's called An Investor's Guide to Famous Last Words, and it comes from The Motley Fool, the gift of giving that I thought would have long since died from the dot-com era. I used to spend quite a bit of time ripping The Motley Fool in their, because I lived in the area where these guys were located, and it's really surprising to me that they still exist. More power to them that they've made a business model out of basically pumping buy and hold for 15 years. Good for them. Anyways, they do occasionally have interesting articles that I will see. And this one came across my plate. An Investor's Guide to Famous Last Words. Quote, I thought I was getting guaranteed high returns, end quote. Who the blank thinks that? A guarantee of a return? It doesn't work that way, especially from a trend following perspective. You don't get guarantees. Continuing, quote, I want to get in now before I miss more of the upside, end quote. I don't know what that means. Do people talk like that? Continuing, quote, we've come up with a new way to mitigate risk, end quote. Well, there's not really any new ways to mitigate risk. If you take a position, you know how much you're willing to lose, how much you're willing to risk. That has been the cardinal rule since day one, dawn of time. If you don't have that rule, or if you think that rule is new, you haven't been paying attention. Quote, we seek to enhance returns with leverage, end quote. Leverage is a tool, nothing more. It's been around for a long time. It's a tool to be used. It's not new. If somebody's promoting it as a new tool, perhaps they're not the right person to listen to. Continuing, quote, my broker called and said he has a special opportunity, end quote. Let me tell you what to do when your broker calls you and tells you he has a special opportunity. Tell him to blank off, okay? Tell him that you'd like to meet him in the parking lot, okay? And that you just bought a new horsewhip because you were in Arizona and you're out in the sticks. And tell him you'd like to meet him out there because you've really figured out how to use it. And why don't you tell him to show up in a diaper because because you really want to whack him a little. I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyways, if your broker calls and he says he has a special opportunity, hey, just call him up. Hey, Bob, thanks for the special opportunity. This is great. Can I give you all my money? Plenty of people will do that. So you go ahead. Look, you take your choice. If you think he's got you a special opportunity, go for it. If you think he doesn't, grab the whip. Or maybe you can just be like me and just like, whatever. They don't call me, put it that way. Continuing. Quote, this company's moat is impenetrable, end quote. Huh. Yep. Eastman Kodak and all that kind of stuff, film and stuff. Yeah. Moats go away. You know, right now, Apple has a pretty big moat. Will it continue? I have no earthly idea. I think the better gauge of Apple's moat is their stock price. And as long as their stock price is doing something positive in a trending sort of way, that's what you should worry about. Continuing, quote, it looked like easy money, end quote. Anybody that uses the phrase that says it looked like easy money, they missed a few classes. Continuing, quote, there's very little downside risk, end quote. Well, that's how you should structure it. You want very little downside risk. If you know from the beginning you're willing to lose only a certain amount of money, then that's fine. That's all right. Quote, this was a once in a million event, end quote. Well, I don't know. The 100-year flood happens quite often. So I don't know if it's really worth trying to figure out once in 100 years or once in a million years. If it can happen, you have to prepare for it. What's that famous scene? I don't know if it's a famous scene. It's famous in my mind. We're in Salem Abraham in my film, and he talks about it, talking to his kids about meteor strikes when they go out on bike rides. Do I think about a meteor strike? I don't think he really does, but his point is pretty clear. Quote, my pension is guaranteed for life, end quote. You're in trouble. Quote, how can you argue with a bull market that's been going on for 10 years, end quote. You're in trouble again. Quote, you can't afford to not own this stock. Did I say this guy, Morgan Housel? I mean, I know he's making fun of this stuff, so I give him credit for that, actually. But God, do people really think like this? Do they talk like that? I just don't talk to these people anymore, so I guess they do. Quote, I'm going to wait on the sidelines until there's more clarity, end quote. Actually, you know what? I am going to make fun of Morgan now. So he goes on, he's like saying Investor's Guide to Famous Last Words. I'm going to wait on the sidelines until there's more clarity. Then Morgan says the easiest way to ensure you'll miss the bulk of bull markets. Hold on. If clarity is actually a signal, I don't disagree there. I'm starting to really get the feeling that I might have to do a little more homework on Morgan here that wrote this article. I think he might be a buy and hold guy too. I thought he was actually writing a non-buy and hold article for Motley Fool, and I think I could be mistaken. I think Morgan could get onto the blank list with me. Quote, I'm not concerned about valuation. And Morgan goes on to say, an easy motto to follow during bull markets, a humbling lesson learned thereafter. At best, high valuations rob future returns. More often, they cause irreparable losses. Okay, well, trend followers don't worry about valuation. That's a dicey game. Now, so here's another one from Morgan. It says, this is an investor's guide to famous last words. Quote, I only look at the charts, end quote. Now, Morgan goes on to say, a line never said by any successful investor ever. Investing is about buying good businesses and holding them for a long time. Everything else is Las Vegas without free drinks. Okay, Morgan, you're officially out now. You are... I understand. Well, I guess I should have paid more attention. We have a Warren Buffett guy here who wants to pretend Warren Buffett is a buy and hold guy, even though he's trading complex derivatives and has a bat phone to the president to get bailouts whenever he wants. Quote, my brother-in-law has made a killing in these stocks. It's time I jump in, end quote. Well, clearly you don't really want to be doing that. You got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan for how you're going to select your portfolio, how you're going to enter, how you're going to exit with a win, how you're going to exit with a loss, and how much you're going to bet of your limited capital on each trade. Absolutely. Your brother-in-law should not be playing any role in this. Last but not least, it's different this time, end quote. Well, Morgan and I can agree there. It's never different this time. It's always different this time. It's always different. Markets are always changing. This is a good thing. If you can adapt to it's always different, if you can adapt to constant change, you've got a chance to be there in the game. That's what you need to do. So once again, this was an article called Investor's Guide to Famous Last Words by Morgan Housel. And Morgan is clearly he's clearly a Warren Buffett guy. And he doesn't have too much negative in there about trend following. He doesn't really mention it. I guess his only mention is the word, making fun of looking at quote charts. And he calls that going to Vegas. So I have to assume he says trend following is going to Vegas too. I don't need to beat him up for that. Everybody can make their own conclusions. I've said enough about Morgan today. Enjoy.
I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.